Let's look at our science learners books today. Okay, so this week we're talking about how matter is made up of particles. A particle is a very small part of something. Scientists can use a scientific model to explain how and why something happens. The particle model is a good way to explain the differences between solids, liquids, and gases. The model says that all matter is made up of particles. In real life, the particles in matter are too small to see. In the model, we can show the particles as little balls. So we use this model not as a realistic thing to look at, because we know that the particles are actually too small to see via our eyes. So we make them into little balls to make it easier to understand the concept. The balls, the tiny little particles, are called atoms that make up the solid. The particles in matter are always moving, even in things that look still. The amount of movement of the particles decides whether something is a solid, liquid, or gas. Now here's the important part. This is the solid. Particles within a solid are packed together very tightly in fixed positions. This makes it difficult for the solid to change shape, but we know that solids are able to vibrate. All right, then next we have particles within a liquid are close together, but they can slide past each other and change places. Because of this, liquids can change shape easily. You can just imagine water in a water bottle moving around. All right, the next one is particles within a gas are spaced far apart. This is why gases can have any shape. They can also be squashed very easily. Okay, the key points of today's lesson: all matter is made up of particles. Solids keep their shape as the particles do not change position. Liquids can change their shape as the particles are able to slide past each other. Gases can have any shape as the particles move far away from each other. And gases take on the shape of their container. That's the most important thing for today. There's this game here. We'll have to play it when we go back to school though. So if you want to check it out and you have enough people at home, you could look at that. But I know not everyone has many people to play with. The information in our learner's book this week is a very basic outline of what particles are and how they make up matter. And I have included a slide for you guys this week, and it does have a voiceover, so you can check it out for more information, and it will help better explain how this goes about. All right, so we're going to look at how a solid, a liquid, and a gas may be represented by particles. This, we can see there are balls. We have to imagine that this is blown up so big so that we can see it with our eyes. Normally, atoms are so small, the particles are so small that you are unable to see them. But this helps illustrate what a solid looks like. If you can see, not much happens when we shake it. Maybe it can vibrate a bit. But do you see anything happening? No. It is solid. If we try to put in more, it's not going to move. I can shake it, and nothing really happens to the solid. Next up, we're looking at what our liquid particles might look like in the liquid. So Teacher Marisa had to go and pull out a whole bunch of pom-poms, which was quite hard because they were packed quite tightly. But as you can see, they are spaced a bit more apart, and they're not so on top of each other. If we flip it around, they have the ability to move around a lot more and flow. If we flip it around again, they can flow, and they can even change places. You can give it a shake. Whoopsie. If you give it a shake, they can go up or down. And that's how the particles would behave in a liquid. Can vibrate, they can move. All right, and this would be how particles would look in a gas. Obviously, they're going to stick together, but normally it wouldn't. They'd be spread out. So you're going to imagine that they would go. There's a lot fewer, so there's a lot more space for them to move apart easily, bounce off each other, move, change places, the whole shebang. Lots of space for them. Right, now we can see how gas might move around. If it was to knock around and get a lot of movement, it could become quite dangerous. Look at the bag. It's getting hot, ready to explode. And imagine it explodes. Woo! No teachers were harmed in the making of this video. So that's just a fun way of looking at this model and solids, liquids, and gases and the particles that are in each of them. So I implore you to make your own if you have the time and the resources, just to show me how your particle model would look for solid, liquids, and gas. You can use anything you like. Look on the internet for some ideas. Those are my ideas. Maybe you can have a better time than I did. I believe it's better to use, I wanted to use the hairdryer with the polystyrene balls, but I didn't get the polystyrene balls, so I got the pom-poms instead. So maybe you could look at doing something like that, because that would be a really cool reaction. All right, hope you enjoyed it. Bye.